Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Andi. One dyeing
technique?
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One dyeing technique that I've wanted to try for a very long time is long color change. To do that, you take a skein and you rewind it around something really big, like, you know, a dining room table, 4 chairs set up in corners of your living room, something like that. It does take a lot of setup though to rewind that skein, so I just haven't gotten around to it. And today I was digging around in my dyeing stash because I need to dye some yarn to deal with this yarn mop, and I came upon this skein of KnitPicks Paragon. It is, for those who are curious and don't know, a sport weight. It is 100 grams and 246 yards of 50% fine merino wool, 25% baby alpaca, and 25% mulberry silk. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, there you go, it's silky.
As you can see though, don't even ask me what happened here. I don't know, but this skein is in a mess. And it is probably, once I take the band off, it probably won't be that difficult to sort it out and clean it up. But I figured, you know what? This is the opportunity that I have been waiting for to dye something in a long color change. So that's what we're going to do today. First things first though, I need to go and wind this around a table, some chairs, hooks I put into the walls in my office. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to do that. Y'all come on in and we will get to dyeing this yarn. This is just a mess. Oh, it's just a mess. I'm going to need a yarn swift. Are you helping, Momo? Momo is always very fascinated by the yarn swift. Aren't you, Momo? Oh, hello, Miss Circe. Are you going to say hello to the internet people, Circe? Hi. Yeah, I haven't found my forever yet. If you're in the Piedmont Triad of North Carolina area, I could come live with you maybe. You're not supposed to be on the table though. You know that, right? She's just sniffing. Alright, come on. Thank you. You're very sweet. Hi. How are you, girl? Hi.
With a dramatic flourish at the end.
Mm-hmm. No, I need that. Hi. Are you helping? Are you sure? Hi. You're very cute. Hi. What's up, sweetheart? Yes, I'm playing with yarn. You can't play with yarn. You are a cat. Stop. No. Seriously, are you going to go to your daddy's office while I do this? right, our yarn, I've got it all wound into a long skein. And now we're ready to dye it. The two colors that Chad and I decided on for this are Dharma's Intense Iris and Dharma's Peacock Blue. So we mixed up some 1% stock solutions of those, and I've got a little bit of it out here. Now, the Peacock Blue, I don't know if it was my scale lying to me about how much of the dye powder I had, but it's just not wanting to dissolve. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the stock pot. This water is hot. We heat it up in our electric kettle. We've got it on a hot plate so that we'll be able to keep it warm for the second round of dyeing, but we don't have the hot plate on right now. This is the first time for us using either of these colors. And this is the Peacock Blue, if I did not already say. The way we're going to do this is we're going to first dye half of it in the Peacock Blue, and then, and while we're dyeing that, the other half of the skein is going to be laying over here just in an aluminum tray pan. And then when we've got all of the dye exhausted in the Peacock Blue, then we'll take that half out. We will put our Intense Iris in the stock pot, put our undyed half of the skein in here, the dyed Peacock Blue half over to the side in our aluminum foil pan, and dye it that way. Our skein has been soaking overnight in our oversized mason jar in just plain tap water. So I'm going to go ahead and, this is very, very long.
You think?
I do. I wound it, so I know how long it is.
You got lots of help winding it.
Oh my gosh, the cats were just all about it. They're like, oh, we have to be involved. They very rarely get to be around when I'm winding yarn or anything, so I usually do that up in my office, but I needed more room for that one. Just squeezing out the excess water. I know y'all can't see very well. I've got the two ends of the skein like this, right? I'm just gonna hold them together and just keep going. Seriously, that's how long this is. It is so long. You see how long this is? All right, and just gonna hold them like this until I get to the middle, right? And then this half is gonna stay in here. I'm seriously too short for this. Y'all are seeing my belly. I apologize. Okay, I need a step ladder or something.
You want to get you a ladder?
No, that's fine. Okay, so
booster.
An extra few inches of height. All right, so this is my halfway point where my fingers are, right? I'm just going to put this half in the dye bath, all right? And I'm going to dip our halfway point in a little bit, right? And then just take it out. And that's so the colors blend together. And now we just need to let this sit and soak up that dye, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have any citric acid in here.
You're gonna want that citric acid?
We're gonna want that citric acid.
Here is your citric acid. Are your hands wet?
My hands are so wet. Would you mind taking care of that?
How much would you like?
We had what, a half teaspoon in there?
Yes, but it got used on another skein too.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's put a teaspoon in there. We've got quite a lot of water in here.
One, give me 4 scoops.
Yeah.
2, 3, and 4.
Okay. Seriously, I am so sure. I'm trying to start this up. Oh my gosh. Oh. I'm basting my yarn.
There you go.
Right, so it's been about a half hour and our dye bath is mostly exhausted. There's still a little bit of that blue in there. So at this point, I'm going to take our yarn out and I'm going to toss a yarn mop in. You can see this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous color of blue. This is just a really, really long skein of yarn. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna put that over there. Okay, thank you. All right, for our yarn mop, this is one that Chad used for some yarn that he was dyeing. Chad, do you remember what this yarn mop is made of?
Isn't that the Cascade Superwash 128?
I believe it is.
It is a Cascade Superwash 128.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put this in here and see if it soaks up that last bit of dye. If it doesn't, then we're gonna need to add some citric acid. It's been not even 5 minutes and that's our dye bath now. Our yarn mop has done an excellent job. So I'm gonna go ahead and fish it out. And put it back in its little mason jar where it's been staying. Okay, so now we can put our Intense Iris dye in our sock pot. So this is also, just like with the Peacock, this is 10 mLs of our 1% stock solution. Apparently some of it came out of solution. Just stuck to the bottom of my bowl. And you don't do that to me. Okay, that's our dye stock, our dye bath right now. And I do want to add a little bit more citric acid in.
And what you're gonna add?
Just another half teaspoon. Just because we've had a couple skeins of yarn in here, I want to make sure it's still properly acidic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As I have said multiple times, I'm still getting used to how much citric acid to use as opposed to how much vinegar to use. And I know that when I was using vinegar, I would always be too hesitant to use a lot of it, and I'd end up having to go back and reset the yarn pretty much every time. So I'm trying to be generous with my citric acid to make sure everything sets, but at the same time, not put too much in and damage the yarn. So now we're ready to put the other half of our skein of yarn in. And I'm just going to, just like with the other one, just drop it on in. And I'm going to take this part here where I had dipped in a little bit extra on that blue, and I'm going to do the same thing here with that purple so that we get that blend. Just put it like that. And seriously, y'all, this blue is just absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. That is just a beautiful, beautiful color. I'm a little curious why we've got some down here that did not get any color much, but that's okay. He's fine. He's fine. All right. Okay, so now we just need to let this sit and the dye bath exhaust. All right, it's been a half hour and our dye bath is mostly exhausted. Just like with the blue, just a hint of the purple left. So I'm going to take the other half of the skein out. And we're going to put our yarn mop back in. And let it pick up the last little bit of that dye. All right, well that took no time at all. It's been like 2, maybe 3 minutes and our dye bath is exhausted. So we are going to again take our yarn mop and put it back in its mason jar. And we're gonna put our yarn back here in the stock pot. We're gonna turn off the hot plate and then we'll just let it sit overnight and cool down. So I'm gonna just layer this back in. There's no more color, so it's not going to shift this peacock blue. At least it shouldn't. But putting it in this warm water again, where we've added a little bit more citric acid from when we first had that peacock blue in. If there's anything that's not 100% fully set, that should help with it. And just letting it sit in the I keep wanting to say crock pot, but it's not. Letting it sit in the stock pot overnight and cool down on its own will also help with that. So, lid on for that. Our yarn mop, I'm going to go ahead and move it to our tray. There's our yarn mop. He's kind of pretty. He's warm. Travis commenting that it's kind of unusual because you don't see any purple on it, but that's just because there's just very little color that was left in our dye baths for it to pick up, and it just layered over the whole thing, just slightly shifting the blue that was already on there. Okay, our yarn's been sitting out here overnight, and overnight, and it's now 4:17 in the afternoon, and our water is definitely cold. Take our yarn out of here. Squeezing out some of the excess. It's looking pretty already. And yeah, there's no color in our dye bath at all, so I'm going to take this upstairs and see about washing it. And here's our finished yarn. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. I love both of these colors, and I love this point here where they blend and switch from one to the other. That is so pretty.
In a very smooth transition too. You don't have a sharp demarcation between the two colors.
Yeah, and that's because we dipped that transition point into each of the different dye baths to get them to blend together instead of doing like a hand paint or something, or even if we hadn't dipped them so that it layered over, we could still have a sharper division point there. If we had just dipped, okay, we're dipping to here at this point, gonna dip to right here and no further, and then when we do the blue, all right, we're gonna dip to here and no further, and we could have a sharp dividing line, sharp-ish dividing line there. But instead, by dipping, the blue over about, this far, and then the purple over about this far, then the two colors blended in this little segment right here, so that we get that nice, smooth, just really pretty, easy transition between the two. I would love to show you this skein stretched all the way out, even with the camera zoomed all the way out and the tripod as high as it will go. It will not all fit on the camera.
How about a swatch then?
I didn't do a swatch either, because in order to do enough of a swatch for you to see really how it looks with the long color changes, I would have used up a significant portion of this skein.
So 30 by 30 wouldn't cut it?
30 inches by 30 inches maybe. To show you a swatch of how this looks, I'd have to knit up like a scarf or something. So I wish I had a swatch to show you, but I don't. I'll have to come back sometime and show you whatever it is I end up knitting with this. But I love how these colors go together. And I love the whole long color change in it.
No, I think it turned out great.
Mm-hmm.
I like the purple into the blue transition. Mm-hmm. And I think this was a good test of those two colors.
Mm-hmm. And can I just say, I love this yarn base. I absolutely love this yarn base. I love how it looks with the colors where the two strands twist together and come together and you get that darker shadow look.
It almost looks like beads, doesn't it?
It does. It almost does look like beads. It's absolutely gorgeous. It gives a nice depth, but with also sort of a glazed feel to it. I really like this yarn base, and I definitely plan on dyeing some more yarn with it. It's got a nice soft feel to it as well. I mean, it's really nice. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're gonna knit a scarf with it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Could do a sweater.
This isn't enough.
Yeah.
No. Plus, I'm currently finishing the sweater that I've been knitting for like a year.
I guess you can knit a sweater for Circe in her new home. Right?
Yes. I was going to say it at the end of the video, but yes, we have amazing news. Miss Circe, who you saw trying to help me prep this skein and rewind it into the long skein at the beginning of the video, she went to her new home last week. They adore her and she is so happy, and we're just thrilled for her. I mean, that is the best thing for us as feline foster parents, is getting to see our foster cats in a new home where they are as loved as we love them, and where they are healthy and happy and just thriving. And that is exactly what's going on with Miss Circe. And so we're very happy for her. Now I will say, with this being a long color change, it's not like it's going to start with the blue like we have here in the middle and then gradually whatever you're knitting turns into the purple. That's not how it's going to work, because the blue and the purple are each on one half of the strand on each wrap of the skein. So it's going to go blue for a while, then purple for a while, then blue for a while, and purple for a while. The same way that you would do with regular stripes, it's just instead of being quicker stripes, there's going to be a lot more of the blue before you get to the purple, a lot more of the purple before you go back to the blue, and vice versa. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed watching us dye a long color change skein of yarn for my first time ever. Your first time, Chad?
It is.
It is, yeah.
But you had a lot of help.
I had so much help. I had so much help that I eventually had to sequester those helpers into a separate room with, you know, food, water, litter box, toys, beds, everything to keep them happy while I worked on my own. If you did enjoy watching us dye this yarn, then please give the video a thumbs up, hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now and turn on notifications so you never miss anything that we do here. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and we will see you on our next adventure. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Chad.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.